I'm not teaching, I am publicly learning, but I'm welcome to Learning for the Life in the UK test, part 510, by doing risk training. And if you participate in the risk training, that is at your own risk. Okay, the next thing here on the next page, so we're going through the whole book again. We already did the whole book in the past 509 parts, but since around 30 parts or so, 40, we always go from page to page and look if we find a little subject about which we can make our own little presentation. So now on the page we have the migration in post-war Britain. I don't think we can do something with it, but let's read it again. Rebuilding Britain after the Second World War was a huge task. There were labour shortages and the British government encouraged workers from Ireland and other parts of Europe to come to the UK and help with the reconstruction. In 1948, people from the West Indies were also invited to come and work. I still don't know where the West Indies are. During the 1950s, there was still a shortage of labour in the UK. Further immigration was therefore encouraged for economic reasons, and many industries advertised for workers from overseas. For example, centres were set up in the West Indies to recruit people to drive buses. Textile and engineering firms from the north of England and the Midlands sent agents to India and Pakistan to find workers. For about 25 years, people from the West Indies, India, Pakistan and later Bangladesh traveled to work and settled in Britain. We could do a video about this. I don't think it would be wise. This is very broadly spoken. And this is not about laws or things, this is about people. And I don't think we should talk about people and their reasons to move there that broadly. Social changes in the 1960s. The decade of the 1960s was a period of significant social change. It was known as the swinging 60s, we could say that. There was growth in British fashion, cinema and popular music. Two well-known pop music groups at the time were the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. People started to become better off and many bought cars and other consumer goods. It was also a time when social laws were liberalised, for example, in relation to divorce and to abortion in England, Wales and Scotland. The position of women in the workplace also improved. It was quite common at the time for employers to ask women to leave their jobs when they got married, but Parliament passed new laws giving women the right to equal pay and made it illegal for employers to discriminate against women because of their gender. Discrimination also, for other reasons, is illegal. The 1960s was also a time of technological progress. Britain and France developed the supersonic commercial airliner Concorde. New styles of architecture, including high-rise buildings and the use of concrete and steel, became common. The number of people migrating from the West Indies, India, Pakistan and what is now Bangladesh fell in the late 60s because the government passed new laws to restrict immigration to Britain. Immigrants were required to have a strong connection to Britain through birth or ancestry, even so during the early 70s. Britain admitted 28,000 people of Indian origin who had been forced to leave Uganda. I don't understand the sentence still. Were they now allowed to come or not? Okay, I admit that I don't know what the word admitting means. Even so, during the early 70s, Britain admitted 28,000 people. Even so, that means they had to have a strong connection. That means they were not allowed to come. But why should they write at that point? At that point, there were 28,000 people forced to leave Uganda, but we didn't take them because they had no strong connection to the United Kingdom. That is not how we're going to end the chapter about the swinging 60s. So, maybe we should stop talking about it as long as I don't know what the word admitting means. Admitted. I don't understand the sentence. We will do a video about that, but not about the migration part, and also not the workplace laws. If you have a chance for another workplace laws, maybe we're going to add that, but that is not really necessary because we have done a video maybe about discrimination illegal, and there's also named because of gender, discrimination because of gender is illegal, and of course also at the workplace. right to equal pay. It is discrimination in the workplace, in a way. And we had already the other thing with that women were allowed to have money, even if they are married. Maybe the thing about that it was quite common to ask women to quit their job if they got married or if they got pregnant, I think we do mean. Maybe married, okay, married. So we will do something about the swinging 60s, but not in this video. In the next video we will do something about the swinging 60s. We will save the swinging 60s were in the 1960s. There was growth in fashion, cinema and music. There were music groups like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. People got richer and they bought cars and did consume goods. And technological progress happened in every decade that happened. For example, we could name it when the Concorde was built. We could also pick one of the other things here. No, actually not. There is nothing else in the 60s. There's actually nothing else in the 60s. And new styles of architecture in every decade is okay. In the 60s a lot happened like that. And way stronger than the difference between the 40s and 50s. High-rise buildings, concrete and steel became common. Now, in the next video we're going to talk about the more common becoming of concrete and steel. Now we're going to do just resist training. So if you're here for talking about the swinging 60s, you can go directly to the next video. Otherwise we will do now the resist training, and if you participate in the resist training, it's at your own risk. We're having a good stable stand. Yeah, the arms next to us, hands on to fists, and we're bringing the fists down and again up the spotlight. And we have 3 rules. The first one is with stopping immediately as soon as there's pay. Last time down and up. Next exercise, a flashlight. Again, fists like this next to us and to the inside. And to the other side. The second rule is that we're going only as far as we can go with a little bit of effort. We don't force you anything. And the third rule is that we're not overdoing it. So if you feel like taking a break, take a break. I'm going to announce the break possibility 3-4 times. But we just want to strengthen the wrists, not to exhaust. Last time. Next exercise, the magician. Flat hands next to us and bring them to the inside and to the outside. Next exercise, the pancake flipper. Flat hands, open them up, cause them again down. And the last time. The quadrangle, the castle architect. Both arms long out with fists and these fists to the inside. And up to the outside. And down to the inside. We could just include it the way weight is included. We just talk about changes and consumer goods and also more rules at the workplace. Equal payment and no discrimination. And to the inside. Next exercise for grip, anxious with fever. Having the arms at the outside, hand from 2 fists and bringing this fist down and pressing against it. Some people really need everything to be done. Common to the rules not to discriminate and to do equal payment. And we're pulling at the outside. And we're pressing from the top up against the from the top. But also against the top of the hand as well. We're pressing, we are from the top pressing. And against the top of the hand now. And fist down and breathing against. And from the outside. And from the top. And from the bottom. Next exercise. T-Rex in the morning. You could have skipped this frog, this crab action to fever exercise. Next one. The T-Rex in the morning. Flat hands and we bring them down. And up. Again down. Up. Last time down. And up. And now to the T-Rex in the gym. If you don't have a tennis ball but don't want to use one, you can just do it with your bare fist, just make a strong fist, or with the tennis ball, press with moderate force on the tennis ball. Release it again, and press again. And release, and press again. Now to the other side, and press. Release, and press. Release, and last time. Next exercise, cautious big bang. Place the fingertips of one hand on top of the fingernails of your hand, and we're opening slowly. We're opening slowly, and we're closing again slowly. Now we're switching, and we're opening again slowly, and we're closing again slowly. Next exercise. The field is in your simply as director. Hands, fists, and we're opening, and we're closing. One last time. Open. And now the bicycle bridge. Flat hands and bend them into knuckles. Then open again, and bend them again. And open again. Next exercise, you can skip it. The frog testing the water temperature. Flat hands, or hands down with flat fingers, and up into extension with flat, with strong fists. And now down, flat fingers, and up, strong fists, extension. And down, flat fingers, and up. Last round, down, flat fingers, and up. Next exercise, the claw. Just make a close, and open again, and again close, and open again, close, hold it for 1 to 2 seconds, and open. And last time close, and open. Next exercise, you can skip it again. Strong fists into flexion, out extension, flat fingers. In strong fists, flexion, out extension, flat fingers. And in extension, last time, extension, and out to the inside flexion, strong fist. Now the ice axe, flat hand and bend it into knuckles, and press on the top of all four. With the other hand, bend it knuckles and press on all four. Okay, last exercise, long arms, strong fists to the inside, and over the outside extension and flared fingers. And again inside, flexion, strong fists to the outside extension, flat fingers. Last round, inside, flexion, strong fists, out extension flipping it. Bending on the inside. And the relaxation regarding the moderate force over the middle part of the lower arm. On the other side. Last time. I thank you very much, and until next time.